Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the news from SABA Satellite Channel. From Marib, here are tonight's top stories.
Afrah Al-Zuba sworn in as Yemen's first female foreign minister.
Speaker of Shura Council discusses Houthi escalation and peace process with UN envoy.
And Aden governor reviews second phase of war-damaged housing rehabilitation project with UN Habitat. Welcome back. Yemen has issued Republican Decree number 64 of 2026, appointing Salim Saleh bin Bareik as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Yemen to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The decree stipulates that the appointment takes effect from the date of its issuance and will be published in the official gazette.
Dr. Afrah Al-Zuba was sworn in before Presidential Leadership Council Chairman Dr. Rashad Al-Alimi as Yemen's new Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates, becoming the first woman to lead the ministry in the country's history. Following the ceremony, President Al-Alimi congratulated Al-Zuba on her appointment and expressed hope that her leadership would mark a new phase for Yemeni diplomacy, with a stronger international presence and more effective advocacy for the country's interest. The president said the current stage requires a shift from traditional diplomacy to a more proactive approach capable of shaping international discussions on Yemen, building strategic partnerships and defending national interests. He stressed that one of the ministry's key priorities will be reinforcing Yemen's national narrative and counter misleading narratives promoted by the Iran-backed Houthi militia through facts, international law, and UN Security Council resolutions. Al-Alimi also called on Yemen's diplomatic missions abroad to play a broader role in defending the country's sovereignty and institutions while strengthening international support for the government. He praised the strategic partnership with Saudi Arabia and commended Prime Minister Dr. Shaya Al-Zandani for advancing institutional reform during his tenure as foreign minister, aimed at improving diplomatic performance and strengthening Yemen's representation abroad.
Member of the Presidential Leadership Council and Hadramaut Governor Salim Al-Khambashi met in Mukalla with George Altoris, security advisor to the director of the United Nations Department of Safety and Security. The meeting focused on measures to ensure the safety of UN personnel and international organizations operating in Hadramaut, as well as strengthen security coordination to support the uninterrupted implementation of humanitarian and development programs. Al-Khambashi reaffirmed the local authorities' commitment to providing a safe and stable environment for UN agencies and international organizations, stressing continued support and facilitation for their operations. He also praised the partnership with the United Nations and its contributions to improving service and development sectors across the governorate. The meeting, attended by Commander of the 2nd Military Region, Major General Mohammed Al-Yamani, also reviewed mechanisms for enhancing coordination and information sharing between security authorities and UN agencies to strengthen safety measures and improve the delivery of projects benefiting the people of Hadramaut.
Speaker of the Shura Council, Dr. Ahmed Ubaid bin Dagar, met in Amman with UN Special Envoy for Yemen, Hans Grunberg, to discuss the latest political and military developments amid continued escalation by the Iran-backed Houthi militia. Bin Dagar highlighted the militia's ongoing attacks against the Yemeni people in Saudi Arabia, warning that the escalation threatens the course of the Yemeni crisis and risks pushing the country toward greater instability. He said the continued military escalation not only endangers Yemen, but also expands the regional conflict, deepens the humanitarian suffering at the Yemeni people, and undermines regional and international efforts to achieve peace. He stressed the need to prioritize dialogue and hostilities by the Houthi militia. During the meeting, Bin Dagar listened to the UN envoy's assessment of the latest developments in Yemen. The two sides also discussed measures to address the Houthi escalation and ways to intensify regional and international efforts to preserve opportunities for a political solution and prevent the collapse of the peace process.
The Yemeni government is stepping up its diplomatic campaign following the latest escalation by the Houthi terrorist militia, worrying that continued attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea pose a growing threat to international maritime security and global trade. The government is calling for stronger international action to protect key shipping lanes and curb the militia's escalating activities.
The Yemeni government continues its intensive diplomatic efforts following the latest escalation by the Houthi terrorist militia, which included attacks on commercial vessels and threats to navigation in the Red Sea, alongside continuing attacks targeting regional security and the interest of international community through Iranian-backed proxies in Iraq and Somalia. These developments come amid growing concerns over the impact of malicious attacks on global trade routes and the increasing threat to one of the world's most strategic maritime corridors. Continued Iranian support has also enhanced the militia's offensive capabilities by supplying advanced weapons and technology used to target commercial shipping and critical infrastructure, underscoring the need for decisive international action to confront this threat. The Yemeni government is seeking to place the international community before its responsibilities regarding these developments, citing the Houthi terrorist militia's extensive record of attacks and violations, including targeting civilians, laying landmines, obstructing peace efforts, and using its military capabilities to impose a new reality by force. In this context, the government is intensifying its diplomatic engagement with the United Nations, the United Nations Security Council, and the sisterly and friendly countries to highlight the seriousness of the current situation and to encourage a more effective international response that ensures the protection of international maritime navigation, strengthens the security and stability of Yemen and the wider region, and prevents further escalation and threats to the international interests.
Yemen has expressed its full support for the measures taken by Saudi Arabia to defend its security, sovereignty and vital infrastructure, following the drone attacks on oil facilities carried out by Iran-backed Houthi militia operating from Iraqi territory. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates affirmed that Saudi Arabia has the full right under the UN Charter and international law to take all necessary measures to protect its territory, citizens and national interests, and to deter attacks against its security and stability. The ministry also welcomed Saudi Arabia's confrontation that its response was carried out within the framework of legitimate self-defense and in coordination with its international partners to safeguard regional and international peace and security. It said the latest attack, along with previous assaults by Iran-backed armed groups across the region, reflects a continued strategy of using militias to destabilize states, threaten civilian infrastructure and undermine regional and international security. The ministry reiterated that Yemen's experience demonstrates the dangers of weakening state institutions and renewed its full solidarity with Saudi Arabia in confronting threats to its security, sovereignty and stability.
Minister of Human Rights Mishdal Omar met Tinaydin with International Organization for Migration Chief of Mission in Yemen, Abdel Sattar Saif, and Senior Protection Program Coordinator Hugh Jong-gyu to discuss expanding cooperation in combating human trafficking and improving protection for vulnerable groups, particularly migrants. The meeting reviewed national and international efforts to combat human trafficking, the challenges facing migrants and host communities, and priorities ahead of World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, observed on July 30th. Discussions also focused on reactivating Yemen's National Committee to Combat Human Trafficking and strengthening coordination between the ministry and the IOM to enhance protection mechanisms. Minister Omar stressed the importance of expanding cooperation in line with the ministry's priorities and the IOM's mandate, praising the organization's role in supporting protection initiatives, capacity building, and humanitarian response. For their part, IOM representatives reaffirmed the organization's commitment in supporting Yemen's national efforts to combat human trafficking, protect vulnerable populations, and strengthen human rights and humanitarian response.
Minister of State and Aiding Governor Abdurrahman Sheikh met with Regional Director at the United Nations Human Settlement Program, UN Habitat Muslim Kazimi, to discuss preparations for the second phase of a project to rehabilitate homes and damaged by the war. The Saudi Development and Reconstruction Program for Yemen is funding the project, which will restore 620 homes and improve living conditions for beneficiary families while supporting recovery and reconstruction efforts in Aden. The meeting also reviewed coordination between the local authority, UN Habitat and supporting partners to facilitate implementation, address challenges and ensure beneficiaries are selected according to approved criteria. Governor Sheikh stressed the importance of the project as part of Aden's reconstruction plans, noting its direct impact on improving living conditions and providing suitable housing for affected families. He also praised the support of the Saudi Development and Reconstruction Program for Yemen and UN Habitat's efforts to advance recovery, rehabilitate war-affected areas, and strengthen community stability.
Minister of Technical Education and Vocational Training Dr. Anwar Clashat met in Aden with TICA coordinator Zubairiya Yapılmaz and Turkish Red Crescent head of mission in Yemen Ahmed Korkmaz to discuss strengthening cooperation in support of Yemen's technical and vocational education sector. The meeting reviewed the sector's needs and opportunities to improve educational and training infrastructure, strengthen the capacities of vocational institutes and community colleges, and enhance the quality of education while aligning graduate skills with labor market demands. Mr. Clashat highlighted the sector's key role in equipping young people with technical and professional skills, describing it as a vital pillar for economic and social development, job creation, and reducing unemployment. He also noted that the sector has faced significant challenges due to the war sparked by the Houthi terrorist militia, which has affected infrastructure, equipment, and training programs. He called for greater support to modernize curricula, develop training programs, upgrade workshops and laboratories, and build the capacity of teaching staff. For their part, Turkish representatives reaffirmed their interest in supporting technical and vocational education and expressed readiness to study opportunities for future assistance based on available resources.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching and have a good time.
Have a good time.